Alright, what's going on, y'all? A-Fizzle here. Welcome to a new installment called A-Fizzle's Countdowns. As y'all know, I'm going to be doing countdowns of top 10s and top 15s, top 20s, and all the above. Just random things, sports, women, music, news. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to be countdown stuff. So hope y'all ready for a funky ass ride. And since it's Super Bowl week, what would be a better way to kick off this segment in the top 10 Super Bowls of all time list? Because NFL Network, they did a shitty job on their list. I believe I can do a better one. And I know I did a better one. So here we go. Let's get it started. Alright, number 10 on the list is Super Bowl 34 between the St. Louis Rams and Tennessee Titans. This Super Bowl started off bad because, they let scoring opportunities get away. I know one time the Rams went for a field goal and the snap was not done right, so I put it into that drive right there. But eventually in the second half, they got together. The Rams and Titans, they were just scoring out the ass. And then what makes this Super Bowl so memorable is that 6 seconds up, Rams lead 23-16. Titans were pretty much in scoring position. Steve McNair, he scrambles. He hits it out to Kevin Dyson. I may be wrong. I think it's Kevin Dyson. I might be wrong on that one. Hopefully I'm right. Kevin Dyson. He's heading for the end zone. And then when he gets to the 1, he is stopped by Mike Jones, number 52 of the St. Louis Rams. When he was playing for the Rams at the time, he was number 52. And when he stopped him, he was 1 yard short. He was this close of a touchdown. Now, a lot of people would have said that if he would have made the end zone, it would have went overtime. Probably would have been the first Super Bowl to go to overtime. I think if he would have got in for the touchdown, the Titans probably would for 2 and try to win it. I wasn't expecting. I didn't really see overtime. I see him either going for it all or falling up short. But unfortunately for Tennessee, they fall short. Rams clinched their first. Not clinched. Rams won their first ever Super Bowl title that year. Titans, they came close, but didn't make it. And by the way, that was Tennessee's first ever trip to the Super Bowl. Even from the days of the Houston Oilers, Tennessee Oilers, they came close back in the late 70s with Von Phillips, but got stopped by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then by the time they were contenders again in the late 80s with Warren Moon and Jerry Glanville, they never made it. But when they became contenders in the late 90s with Steve McNair, Eddie George, Yancey Thigpen, Javon Curse, Samari Rowe, Kevin Dyson, they had an all-star team. I actually thought Tennessee was actually going to win that Super Bowl. But 1 yard short, stopped it off. That would make Super Bowl 34 number 10 on my list. Could have been higher, but it's 9 better Super Bowls in my opinion. Oh, by the way, these are my opinions, so ride with me on this one. If you have your own opinion, you can post it down in the comments. Alright, number 9 is listed Super Bowl 19 between the San Francisco 49ers and Miami Dolphins back in 1985. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I wasn't born in the 80s, so. But I will talk about a few things. 1984 was a great year for the Miami Dolphins. They had one of the best offenses of all time. And I think if you got to compare best offenses of all time, I put the 1984 Miami Dolphins, the 1998 Denver Broncos, and the 2007 New England Patriots, and the 1998 Minnesota Vikings up. I put those in the top 4 and let them battle out for the best offense of all time. But, Miami just had a phenomenal year of offense. Dan Marino had broken the record for most passing yards with 5,084. Yeah, he broke the record for most passing touchdowns with 48. But unfortunately for them, they fall short in the Super Bowl as the San Francisco 49ers just steamrolled over the Miami Dolphins, and Joe Montana just had the better day. 49ers ended up winning that one 38-16. And that's probably the only 2 blowouts on this list. Is anything 21 points or older is a blowout. This was a 22-point deficit. Number 8 is Super Bowl 37 between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders. And it's probably the only other time you'll see an AFC West team represented on this countdown. Buccaneers, they had a lot to prove. John Gruden, he's the coach of Oakland Raiders from 1998 to 2001. And then he got fired by Al Davis. When he was picked up by Tampa Bay in 2002, he just constructed a defense. Tampa Bay had one of the best defenses that year. Then they had something to prove because 2 years prior to that, they went to the playoffs but got stopped in the wild card round by the Philadelphia Eagles both times. So when they got out, they made it to the playoffs in 02. They knocked out the 49ers in the divisional round. They go to Philadelphia once again, this time for the NFC Championship, and they knocked out the Philadelphia Eagles en route to the Super Bowl 37. And that's the first time ever that Tampa Bay won a game in the temperatures 40 degrees or below. Oakland, ended up coming to the Super Bowl after knocking out Tennessee in the AFC Championship game, putting an end to Tennessee's possible dynasty at the time. Tennessee. Oh yeah, Oakland. They did not see it coming, man. John Gruden, it was revenge for him because he was playing against the team that let him go. He wanted to get revenge. He wanted to sock it to him, and he did just that. Dexter Jackson, the MVP, 2 interceptions. Derrick Brooks had an interception of his own. Warren Sapp, man, that defense that year, man, they just shut down Oakland. Only good thing the Oakland Raiders did on offense was that pass from Rich Gannon and Jerry Rice was on. It helped Jerry Rice clinch another Super Bowl record, add on to his legacy. But other than that, Oakland was from a shutout in Tampa Bay the entire day. Buccaneers ended up winning that one in a clean fashion blowout, 48-21. All right, number 7 on this list is Super Bowl 7 between Miami Dolphins and Washington Redskins back on January 14, 1973. Only thing I can really say about this matchup is that Miami Dolphins, looking at it, become the first ever team to have a perfect season. And they had it right in their grasp. Miami shut out Washington pretty much the entire game until everybody knows Garrett's gaff, Garrett Repremier. They had them up 14-0. He would have made a field goal. I think the Dolphins would have shot the Redskins 17-0. But the Washington Redskins blocked Garrett's field goal, and it's picked up by Garrett. He tried to throw it, but it was really unsuccessful at throwing it. It went up in the air. Mike Dawson, Washington Redskins, picked it off. He took it all the way for a touchdown, which prevented the first ever Super Bowl shutout. Redskins trailed 14-7. They was threatening to score again, but game MVP Jake Scott put it in that with his interception, and Dolphins secured they secured the first perfect season, I should say, by defeating Washington Redskins 14-7 in Super Bowl 7. Now we get into the heavy stuff. Number 6, Super Bowl 25 between the New York Giants and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills were favored to win the Super Bowl, and New York Giants, they came out of nowhere. They had throughout the year, they had pretty much was flopping back quarterbacks between Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler. And I think Phil Simms was hurt going to that game. So Jeff Hostetler, starting the game. Him, Dave Meggett, O.J. Anderson, they had a good game. O.J. Anderson, he proclaimed back in the 80s when the Giants go to the Super Bowl, it's going to be in Florida. He's going to be an MVP because he's from Florida. Which is he gets it all right. And the Giants had a good defense with Lawrence Taylor. Buffalo, they just had a high potent offense with Jim Kelly. I forgot Frank Wright was 2 years later. Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Thurman Thomas, the Magnet 3. And Buffalo really outplayed New York, to be honest with you. And Buffalo should have won that Super Bowl, but why they didn't? Scott Norwood. Wide right. Giants won that with 2019. And that was a hard year. Bad things come for the Bills because they were going to 3 more Super Bowls and lose them all to the Redskins once and to the Cowboys twice. But the Giants, they had Bill Parcells, the New York Giants did. So after that year, their dynasty pretty much went up in flames. Bill Parcells left, Phil Simms, Lawrence Taylor got old, then the Giants just went downhill until Michael Strahan came around and revived New York. We run New York! The main key to number 5 on this list is just Super Bowl 23 between the San Francisco 49ers and Cincinnati Bengals. Is Jerry Rice. 216 receiving yards. Just dominated the scene. But what makes this a unique Super Bowl is that when the Bengals were leading 16-13, they forgot. They gave the 49ers too much time. Their offense was Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Roger Craig. They're in the mind scheme of Bill Walsh, who the Cincinnati Bengals should have signed as a head coach back in the early 70s. They really effed him up. They had that great drive in the end. It just Joe Montana just playing clutch, Roger Craig playing clutch, Everybody's just playing clutch that day, man. And then the game-winning touchdowns from Joe Montana to John Taylor. 49ers won that with 2016. You know, for Cincinnati fans, that did not go well. I think that Super Bowl loss was a harbinger of bad things to come from the Bengals, because in the 90s, they really sucked ass. And they will continue to suck ass until 2005, when they finally make it to the playoffs again. Probably one of the greatest Super Bowl rivalries of all time, Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys. But number 4, the best Steelers-Cowboys Super Bowl is Super Bowl 13, 1979. Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach. Lynn Swann, Drew Pearson. Tony Dorsett, Franco Harris. The main thing that makes the main thing that makes this Super Bowl so unique is that both teams had 2 Super Bowl wins at the time, and the winner of that one will have the most Super Bowl wins at 3. Pittsburgh was the better team that day, and Lynn Swann, he was just phenomenal, man. Him and John Stallworth, both of those cats were phenomenal in that game. Steelers won that one 35-31. I think the Cowboys had a shot, but when Jackie Smith, who was once playing for the St. Louis Cardinals at the time before he came to the Cowboys, he drops a pass. That pretty much done it for Dallas. And, you know, somebody said this: when you spend too much time with a bad team like the Cardinals, when they were St. Louis at the time, you know, you're not used to being in the big game. So when he came to Big D, it was like he's not used to it. It kind of, I think that him being on the Cardinals kind of played in his head when he dropped that pass. Yeah, Steelers won that on 35-31 as well. Number 3 on this list is Super Bowl 33 between the Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, I can't leave out my Broncos on this list. What makes this Super Bowl so unique to me, why I put it at number 3, is that, living in Georgia around these Falcon fans, they were real cocky with their dirty bird mix, but I can't really complain too much because we were all cocky. Us Bronco fans, we were cocky with the Mile High Salute. Both teams were 14-2 that year. Nobody expected the Atlanta Falcons to have that year. They had a great year, 14-2. They only lost to the 49ers and Jets. For the Broncos, they only lost to the Dolphins and Giants that year. They were threatening to get Miami to have a perfect season, but when they lost to the Giants, they went up in flames. Broncos had defeated the not the Jaguars, Dolphins in the divisional round, and the Jets in the conference championship, while the Falcons, they had defeated the 49ers in the divisional round and upset the Vikings in the conference championship, because it was supposed to be Broncos-Vikings. But, Denver Broncos, they just laid it on John Elway. He was the MVP. Darian Gordon, Darius Johnson picking off Chris Chandler passes. I think the Broncos defense just gave Chris Chandler hell, because Falcons didn't really do too much. They really shut down all cylinders for the most part, but somehow they did manage to put 19 points. So they went to, not on all cylinders, most cylinders, but I had to get props to the Falcons. I had a good year. 1998 was a magical year. A lot of them think they was going to do well in 99. Then all those injuries caught up to them. They finished 5-11 to, Denver Broncos. I didn't see a 3-peat coming, but because injuries caught them too. And they finished 6-10. That was a Super Bowl for me to remember, because I was rubbing all of them in the Falcons fans' faces for a long time too. All right, the runner-up on this list at number 2, Super Bowl 43 between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals. The main thing about this Super Bowl is that, Pittsburgh got to a good start. Then Arizona tried to come back, and then with the Larry Fitzgerald touchdown, Arizona took the lead. I remember being at this club watching the Steelers-Cardinals game. A lot of people root for Pittsburgh. There was a few people root for Arizona because they wanted Arizona for the upside. They wanted Arizona for the upside. And they almost got it. I wasn't rooting for anybody. I didn't care. But what made this Super Bowl so unique when Pittsburgh got down the field, Ben Roethlisberger, complete pass to freaking... Oh, Trashman just ran by. I was looking outside. He had that pass to Santonio Holmes. Santonio Holmes caught the pass, managed to keep both feet in the end zone. They secured that touchdown. Steelers won that with 27-23. That was their 6th consecutive Super Bowl, but across to Arizona, because that was their first ever trip to the Super Bowl. They knocked out the Falcons in the wild card, Panthers in the division round, they upset the Philadelphia Eagles in the conference championship. I actually thought it was going to be a Pennsylvania Super Bowl, because I thought the Eagles were going to make it. Apparently not. But yeah, Arizona, they played a hell of a game. They could have easily won that one, but they just came up short off of Santonio Holmes' complete pass. And Pittsburgh for the past few years, prior to that Super Bowl, been accused of cheating, especially in Super Bowl 40 when the referees pretty much gave them that win. They won that one they won Super Bowl 43 fair and square. So I gotta give them that. And last but not least, number 1, Super Bowl 32, Denver Broncos versus the Green Bay Packers. This Super Bowl is my favorite Super Bowl. It's the most unique Super Bowl in my opinion because that was the day, January 25th, 1998 at Qualcomm Stadium, San Diego, California. That was the day that the Denver Broncos won their first ever Super Bowl. That was the day that John Elway got his first ever Super Bowl win as a quarterback. That was the day when Terrell Davis overcome all obstacles, a migraine to rush like hell, and won that MVP. Both Denver and Green Bay swapped leads back and forth throughout the entire game. But when TD runs it in the end zone for the touch to get the go-ahead lead, it was like, whoa, can you say Denver is in the lead? Yes, you can say Denver is in the lead, baby. And Green Bay trying to strike downfield, because Brett Favre, he had that cannon arm at the time, so he tried to strike downfield, but defense held up and got Denver their first ever Super Bowl. Few other memorable plays was the helicopter play when John Elway was running. The Green Bay just put him in the world, just make it spin like a helicopter. Then on top of that, when Terrell Davis was hurt, he went out there like a champ. And they faked it to him, and John Elway ran it in there for himself. Now, you want to say a 37-year-old man at the time did not want to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, he did. He played his ass off because he really wanted to win that Super Bowl. Fucking bad. And he did just that. He got all monkeys off the back because everybody's saying, John Elway, he cannot win the big one. You see what he did in the 80s. But in the 80s, he didn't have any help. He just had the three amigos. He didn't have a running back. In the 90s, they had a running back. They had wide receiver coach and Ed McCaffrey, Rod Smith. They had tight end Shannon Sharp. He had weapons in the 90s. He was able to win that Super Bowl. You want to say Denver was lucky? No. Denver won that with skill because they would not let go. They would not let down. The Green Bay played a hell of a Super Bowl. Up to that point, they have never lost a Super Bowl. They lost their first ever Super Bowl that game. Like I said, Green Bay played a hell of a game, man. Eugene Robinson, they was hitting. Steve Atwater was hitting on Denver's end. So, that was a damn good Super Bowl, man. That's why I say that's the number 1 Super Bowl in my opinion. Well, and that concludes my top 10 list of my favorite Super Bowls of all time, man. If you got a comment, if you got your opinion, you can post it down there, man. Like I said, it's my opinion, and you're not gonna make me change my mind. You can debate. You can say, how could I do this? Don't forget about this as well. You can do that as well. You can comment about that. If you want a response and make your own list, you're free to do that. Just don't talk shit about my list. That's the only thing I can say. You can make debates. You can give your own opinion, but just don't talk shit. That's all. And that's going to conclude it. A-Fizzle signing out. Y'all have a nice day.